Still have some daylight here. A few minutes. Actually, we don't have any light, but we have apple light illuminated in the background from the city lights, street lights. Hi, did you guys poop? Sorry, I forgot to clean up your poop. Some good news. Someone donated money, $40,000 to the hospital to cover my snake bite. Thank you very much. I mean, it could have went to someone else, but whatever, they covered me. Hospital stays in business, blah, blah, blah. They pay the anti-venom guy for the rattlesnake. And is that a horse or a guy with a bag? Thought it was a horse. And we're back at it again, but too bad. I mean, I could have applied for the charity for the dog, paid the $5,000 or $10,000. But again, I took him to the local vet. I figured they would have the tools to handle him more affordably, but unfortunately, the vet didn't believe in antivenom, which is the most effective cure against poisoning, envenomation from a rattlesnake, of course. You get poisoned, you talk to a toxicologist, the toxicologist says, give him rattlesnake antivenom, of course. But this vet said, the vet's already 70 years old, and she said, my preceptor, the person who trained me, didn't use antivenom. Of course, it wasn't around in the 80s when you were trained, or in the 70s, of course, there's not going to be antivenom. Generally, I mean, they were experimenting with it, but it wasn't conclusive. There weren't enough studies done, especially in animals. But again, here we are in 2023, and antivenom for any type of snakes, even the lapids, like the king cobra, which is the most common venomous snake bite in the world. It actually kills 50,000 people a year. Is that right? Yeah, crazy high death rate for king cobra bites. Because guess what? People die if they don't get the antivenom. King cobras actually are elapids. They're the longest venomous snake in the world, and they come in black, brown, maybe gray, I'm not sure. And of course, people have been, you play the flute, you can sort of tempt them to come out of the baskets. And I'm not a king cobra master, but you can sort of dodge left and right with the snake. People like to play around with them, grab them. I guess they're easier to handle, especially because of their length. They tend not to strike as far in terms of body length. So anyway, some king cobra talk before I get into the crypto vlog. To have the dogs, we are missing 2. The dogs are most likely to be killed by a coyote, actually, at this park. How'd you get to that side? Maya. I don't like to scream loud because I figured if I scream loud, they can't tell where it's coming from. Let it softer. Hi, you got a tennis ball? And those 2 dogs over there, he was actually taken, if you remember back in, I think it was last year, actually, less than a year ago. Yeah, October 2022, I think. He was actually bit by a coyote who came down from the hills and grabbed him, and then we had a couple of our dogs chase after him. Ella, you hanging around the coyotes? There's like a 30% chance there's a coyote just hanging out there. Ella, come on. This dog's crazy. The other dog's probably in the street right now. Ella. So I have to find her. Hey, Christopher. let's get to the crypto vlog for October 7th, 2023. World news. Should I talk about world news? Maybe I will at the end of the vlog, so I'll talk about it. Hi. We gotta find our little black puppy. Oh no, I saw this girl in the middle of the street. I was driving to the park. Now she's just going up there by herself. I mean, I don't think the coyotes are gonna take her down, but still something to be aware of when you go up there. Oh, I forgot this dog always gets lost. So we gotta look for her. Jeez. Is it a girl or a man with long hair? Oh, I think it's a guy with long hair. I'm like, who's this girl wearing a schoolgirl? Come here, Rusty. Schoolgirl outfit. It's just a guy with long hair. Hi, Rusty. Hey, buddy. Ella, come on. There she is. Hey, Saturday night, ironically, is one of the least busiest nights at the park. Hi. I used to climb this every day, like 3 or 4 times. I would climb up, climb across, and then climb down. Back then I could do. I never did more than 8 pull-ups in a session. They say if you can't do 10, you're not that strong, but I could go up there at least. I had good, decent grip strength. Not ridiculous grip strength, but I could pull myself up by the rings. Almost to the top. By the chain links. That was about 10 years ago. Lost most of my strength. That's what happens when you get addicted to crypto, you get a girlfriend, start a family, you lose most of your strength. So it's good to send young men to war because they're strong, right? Okay, so we got to talk about StarsArena. That's just the big trade. Haven't been AP meme coins. They've just been ruggy. There's all these tools like Profits, which went from, I told you, 61 cents to 280. I think it's at 265 now. It's been hanging between like 220 and 270 today. So avax was just ripping. I longed on Thursday night at 10:41, just a small baby long, 15,000. And then it was like 10:60 in the afternoon, in Friday afternoon, USA time, early Saturday. And then came back from the park after doing last night's vlog, and avax is like 11:15. I'm like, holy crap. And then I refresh 11:30, and I'm like, did someone shill it? And then all of a sudden it wicks to like 11:88. Surely someone shilled it. And I saw Rue King had a little shill at like 11:30 and sent it about 5%. Crazy, right? And then guess what happened? It dipped to like back to 11:45-ish, and it bounced to 11:62, and then OX Laureate tweeted that StarsArena has been exploited for like 26 No, 200, like 200, I didn't add them up, like 285,000 avax, about $3 million worth of avax. They emptied all the hot wallet for the StarsArena tech, the SA tech, whatever it's called, on snow scan, snow something. So basically the ether scan version of Avalanche. So what does this mean for avax? They got exploited. So I was thinking, okay, now we're gonna see how much of this actual avax pump this week from $9 to, or is it $8.80 to $11.88, this 35% pump, how much of this pump is related to sorry, did I 35%? I think it only did 25%, sorry. How much of this 25% pump, 27, I don't know. Shoot. Was I right the first time? 32, whatever, my math is wrong. How much of this pump is related to StarsArena, right? It's only 3 million TVL, only 3 million of fees generated. I mean, that's still a lot of volume for all the shares and stuff like that. But anyway, we'll see. So it dipped to $11 with the hack from 11.60 when OLX Laureate tweeted. Then at like 10.76, it bounced to like 10.95. I'm like, surely it bounces here. And then StarsArena tweeted, and it went down even more. And then Emil Gunsur said, not a huge hack. Tweeted again at like 10.70, and it went all the way down to 10.24. Then it bounced to like 10.40, 10.38. And then StarsArena said, don't worry, they found the resources to revive, to cover the loss, the $3 million loss. And I'm like, okay, great. And it got sent to 10.75, so about 3%, 3.5%. And I'm thinking, okay, it's not going to go much higher. This is probably the top. I was just on my phone. See, in this case, I don't have the resources on my phone. I should have the mobile terminal. I should have something like Newsly or another mobile terminal feed, like PVP might be Telegram compatible, or Phoenix Trades might be Telegram compatible, anything like that with the news feed. Newsly is a pretty good one though. And just the ability to long from your phone to see the news and then long. Not a lot of people were scraping StarsArena Twitter. It's not a default on Tree Capital or Tree News of Alpha, so that would have been a good spot, because it didn't insta pump, because for one, avax doesn't have a ton of liquidity compared to anything really. There's not a ton of liquidity. Like 1% pump, no, like 0.5% slippage, I think, is $1 million, something like that. But, or 500,000. But somebody told me there's invisible market makers. So if you set a market order, yeah, you'll get slipped, I think. But if you set a limit order, you'll get filled, something like that. That's why you always do limit orders when you buy on news and auto buys. So hey. This lady's telling my dog to get back. Don't greet him. It's too many dogs. Yeah, I just wasn't set up for it, and it only moved 3.5%. I didn't think it was like huge news. I didn't think the AVAX pump. Sometimes you get the anti-FUD, but the FUD is so strong it doesn't fully reverse. Just the momentum has completely changed. The AVAX daily candle, the wick up to 10.88, like the open at 1188. I'm sorry, the open at like 1050 on the daily, then the wick to 1188. It just looks bad. So the daily's been cursed. Maybe it will bounce. Maybe we'll dead cat back to like 1080, 1090, maybe even 11. But until StarsArena's back up, and then all the Shillosaurus gets on it, and everyone's shilling it, buy AVAX, long AVAX, blah, blah, blah. Because you have to imagine in the chat, they're thinking, yeah, StarsArena is a great app. And also everyone's saying, buy AVAX, long AVAX. Look at the breakouts, all the technicals. So the shilling plus all the technical shills, that was the reason for the AVAX pump. So again, it's not just StarsArena was a big part of it, but to see it, the huge dump of AVAX, the 15% correction, go hand in hand with the rugging of StarsArena is really crazy. Also, they use the same contract to rug, apparently, despite the upgrades that fixed. There was an earlier hack in the day, or the day before, for $2,500 worth of StarsArena funds, but just funny to see them completely repeat the same type of hack, even though they did upgrade the contract, and we got it the rug here. So again, great news trades, but I didn't want to short under $11. I saw it too late. I wasn't following StarsArena or OX Laureate. I'm not on the news feed. But if you want to make the big bucks, if you want to cash in, you could have shorted $1 million, $2 million, whatever. If you had $100,000 in your Binance account and did a 20x short, why not? But the problem is, you probably aren't news traders. You don't want to sit at that feed for 14 hours a day, but that's where the money's made, right? Or you could have watched and waited for the exploit. Just watched the AVAX Explorer or the StarsArena wallet and waited for set up a filter for a big transfer out. So a couple different ways to do that. So is there going to be a trade when they relaunch? Probably. It'll probably go up 3, 4, 5% when they reopen. So that's going to be a nice news trade in a few days. There's going to be an audit. Probably not tomorrow, maybe on Monday. They'll relaunch. Again, I can't predict when they will, but that's going to be a good long of AVAX. Can you front run? Maybe, but again, you take on like 90% of the risk if you try to front run versus watching the news feed and waiting for that StarsArena tweet, right? Add StarsArena to your custom feed. So make sure whatever news app you're using or terminal, PvP, Tree Terminal, Phoenix Trades, Newsly, whichever one. Oh, shoot, I forgot to even shill Tulip trade. I've been shilling all the other ones just because I got tired of shilling the same terminal over and over again. But whichever ones have custom news Twitter feeds, get on that and check them out. Again, PvP 1, Newsly 2, Tulip Terminal 3, and Phoenix Trades 4. Those are the 4 I know about that are public or very cheaply to access. You might have to pay a few $100s, then boom, you're in. And of course, you're going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars news trading, right? In a good month, you can make a couple $100,000 on one news trade, like the AVAX short. If you would have shorted $1 million or $2 million and held it all the way down to 12, 13%, you could have made over 100,000. So again, balls of steel to hold that big position, especially if it's a huge amount of your margin account. Because you have like 50,000 a margin account, you see like 5,000, 10,000 P&L. You're like, oh shit, I'm gonna hold. Versus if you have 500,000 to $1 million in your account, you see like 20,000, 30,000. You're like, it's decent, I'll hold a little bit. Then you can ride it to like 50, 100,000, 150,000. So again, it's the ratio of how much you have in your margin account. Hugely important to your swings. The more money you have, the larger your swings, especially if you have like a 70% trade in your favor by holding. It's definitely worth it to hold every single time, right? 60%, maybe not worth their gamble, but 70% or higher, definitely worth it. Again, this is just an arbitrary number, and I can't tell you how to calculate it. It's completely arbitrary. It comes with experience. You make up the numbers yourself, basically. Anyway, that's that. Okay, is it time to talk about DGen Spartan Shield SPX 6900? It went from like 1 cent to 1.35 cents, 35%, but is it really worth aping now? It's not really moving. Just because he quoted a meme, He didn't say I'm buying or this is a great coin. He's just like, love the meme they made. Okay, he didn't say anything about the coin. The problem is like when Elon tweeted the milady, there is no meme, I love you, then it was a pump and dump. He wasn't showing the project, he just liked the meme. So it's hugely different for an influencer to show the project and just say like, I really like the meme, because it wasn't a shill. He just said I like the meme. So again, it could fully retrace. I did put 5,000 in. I could probably lose 1,000, maybe 1,500. It drops 30%. I might exit, but whatever. That's a meme coin. It's okay. So now I'll talk about a world event. So on Friday night in the U.S., Saturday morning in Europe, West Asia, Middle East, we had Hamas, which is the militant arm or organization of Palestine. Again, are they officially backed? Probably. Does Iran sponsor Hamas? Probably. So I think they launched like 500 missiles at Gaza, maybe at Tel Aviv, other parts of Israel. But I didn't get the official number or the location anyway, but I think a couple hundred Israeli dead. Again, not a huge number, but for a terrorist attack it is. But for a wartime conflict, it's not a big number. But at the same time, this is the first big attack since 2021 and since COVID, especially 2022 with the Russian invasion of Ukraine. We've been all over Twitter and news, and it's been super crazy. So this is going to spread all over Twitter with images, and especially with social media. Everyone has a smartphone now. So it's a much bigger event. Yeah, it's only 200 dead, but still you see the bodies. You still see them taking women and old ladies. I don't know if they took children, kidnapped children, but a German tourist that was in town for a concert, or she happened to go to a concert. She was visiting Israel. She was stripped down to her underwear. So again, not a good scene on social media. So yeah, I'll talk about the conflict now. So since the time of prehistory, this area around Jerusalem, or the Fertile Crescent, it was just established culture after culture, from Babylon to Mesopotamia, ancient Syria. They decided, okay, this area right by the Mediterranean Sea is what the biblical prophecies referred to as the dawn of mankind, the first humans in the Hebrew Judeo-Christian Bible, right, which relates also to the Quran, the Muslim Bible, Islamic Bible, or holy book. So this area, Israel, the Holy Land, the land that was destined for the Jewish people, and I guess Christians and Muslims. Well, actually, Islam has Mecca, Medina, and Jerusalem, I think, as their three holy cities. So they have three of them. So again, all three major religions. Of course, I'm not mentioning Buddhism or Hinduism, but the three Judeo-Christian and Islamic religions have this Jerusalem as the holiest city. So again, disputed region. Everyone knows about the Crusades 2,000 years ago. Sorry, no. Crusades were about 1,000, or like 800. I don't know the first year of the Crusade. I think they fought them over different centuries from like 800 to 1,200 or 1,300. AD or BC, C, Common Era. So everyone wants this area, Jerusalem, And then all of a sudden, it was under British control for, I'm not sure, since the 1800s or mid-1800s. And then in 1948, the UN signed a declaration saying, hey, we're going to give this area to Israel, and then this other area around, like a carved out area which is part of Jordan, called the West Bank, and a little piece called Gaza next to Egypt, we're going to give it to the Palestinians. So it's a two-state solution. It was established, and then there were a bunch of wars, like the Yom Kippur War. Hi. And then, which Israel was surprise attacked by Egypt, Jordan, Palestine, Syria, Lebanon. And then 1967, a preemptive attack by Israel in the 6-Day War. It only lasted 6 days, and Israel demolished Egyptian forces and Palestinian forces. In Jordan, just a little bit of... Jordan didn't really send a ton of forces, but... And in 1967, Israel took over the West Bank and Gaza. So the UN didn't fully recognize that war, or the agreement after, where Palestine conceded those territories. But in any effect, Israel has been occupying the West Bank against international law and Gaza. But Gaza is such a small area, it's like 10% the West Bank. So for a few reasons, okay, then I'll go to like 1994 or 1993, the Oslo Pact, where the Prime Minister of Israel, the Premier, Yitzhak Rabin, and the President of the Arab State of Palestine, Yasser Arafat, they got together in Oslo, or with the assistance of Oslo, secret meeting, and they signed a peace accord saying, yeah, we do recognize the West Bank and Gaza as Palestinian territory, and Israel, they will continue to occupy the areas, but they are officially Palestinian, but Israel doesn't want to leave. And then more and more settlements since 1995 were placed in the West Bank, Israeli settlements. And also the main problem is Israel has their army, they have the funding from the West, especially the United States. Tourists, they want to visit Israel, they don't want to visit Palestine, right? You don't have all the Islamic nations saying, hey, I want to make a pilgrimage to Palestine. They say, yeah, I want to go to Jerusalem, sure. East Jerusalem actually is supposed to be a sovereign territory of Palestine, and West Jerusalem is actually, the UN wants it to be an international city, but Israel said, no, West Jerusalem is definitely ours. They also want East Jerusalem. They are occupying East Jerusalem, but technically under the UN agreement, it's supposed to be part of Palestine. So anyway, so there's this territory. So Israel goes in, they have their military there, they have all the power. They can just say what they want. So Palestine responds through the PLO, the Palestinian PLA, or the PLO, Palestinian Liberation Operation, or something like that. And Hamas, the right-wing branch of Palestinian resistance. So they respond by sending missiles into Israel. Israel says, you're terrorists, blah, blah, blah. They bomb. Also, Hamas and PLO bomb school buses every few years. They kill a bunch of children. I think there's a few terrorist attacks. Oh, how many do they kill a year? Not too many. It's like 20 or 30. Is it even that high? Israelis are killed in terrorist attacks. So not a ton, but like every year or so, every 2 years, you hear about attack, either a missile attack or a school bombing. When was it? 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when the Palestinian rebels blew up a synagogue during a holy holiday in Jerusalem. So again, a crazy conflict, but Israel has definitely killed more people in terms of rehoming them, taking away their homes, and especially taking away their water supplies. They control the water. The Palestinians have to buy their water through an Israeli water. I forgot the name, Mekot, through an Israeli water supply company, and it's not the cleanest water either. So definitely the occupation, the conflict favors the Israelis. And 3/4, at least in a 2003 survey, 3/4 of Israelis favored the two-state solution for peace, where they would just give the territory to the Palestinians. I mean, Israeli occupies the territory, so the point of the conflict is they want the Israeli army to leave the territory. But are they going to leave? Doesn't look like anytime soon. And there's always like a back and forth. We need to send more forces. We need to demolish more Palestinian homes. You're not going to see Palestine, the nation state, demolishing Israeli homes, right? What do they call them? Settlements, Israeli settlements. UN calls them like illegal settlements when the Israelis build houses in the West Bank or Gaza or East Jerusalem. So, what's going to happen? Israel wants their forces there because it's a buffer region between Tel Aviv, I think it is the largest city. Is it the largest city? I'm not sure. In Israel, and then Jerusalem, and then finally Haifa. I think this is the third largest city in Israel. But what's going to happen in this conflict? Of course, we have the liberal politicians and government that want Tabib and Andrea Ocasio-Cortez. They want the two-state solution, but Trump never said two-state solution. Biden never said two-state solution. Again, it's one state because Israel is hand in hand, and all the supporters, the conservative supporters for Israel from the U.S., they'd lose too much of the vote if Biden wanted a two-state solution. So we have to have the solution out of Israel. The people want it, but the people haven't done anything for the two-state solution. Of course, a lot of those Israeli people are Arabs, and the majority of the Arabs favor the two-state solution because 90% or something of the Arab Israelis are Islamic. So a lot of the conflict is religion-based, but at the same time, most of it is just Israel. They don't want Israel in that freaking territory. And a side effect of the occupation is the anti-Semitism, even though they're both Semitic ethnicities, right? Semitic people, the Arabs and the Jews. So it should be anti-Jewish sentiment and versus anti-Islamic sentiment or anti-Arab sentiment. When you say anti-Arab, it goes hand in hand with anti-Islamic, even though Semitic is basically Arabic people. So that's that. It's the end of the conflict. Again, they're gonna keep facing this, and then Israel's gonna retaliate for the 200 dead. They're gonna force Palestinians out of their home. There's probably gonna be 20,000 Palestinians that are gonna have to be relocated from the West Bank and Gaza. So it's not a good look for either party here, but at the same time, is anything going to be done? It seems like there's this push-pull where it looks like there's a solution, and then in the last 30 years, nothing has been done, and even though the public support has grown for the Palestinian people and the world support. It seems like within Israel, the government wants them to take more and more territories. Why, a bee? A bumblebee? So anyway, it's the end of the conflict. Good luck to everyone. And if you don't want to risk your money, you're not going to make money, especially on leverage. So with shitcoins, you try to put in a couple $100 and make like 5 or 10,000. With leverage, you gotta man up. $50,000, 20x long, $1 million. You're trying to make $20, $30, $40,000, maybe 100,000. So that's where it is. Again, it depends how early you are in the news. You can make a shitload on leverage though. So news, if you want to make the huge bucks, news. If you want to just gamble a lot, shitcoins. That's it. See you guys on the other side. Thanks to all my watchers.